All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back Monday, March 11th, breaking down the 6 games we have on tap in the National Basketball Association tonight. Got my guy Hamwich with me as we do each and every Monday. Hamwich, how was your weekend, man? How's your Monday going? What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, my man? It's weekend was good. This Monday, it's been a wild Monday, and I want to give my condolences to all the Atlanta Falcons fans out there. Kirk Cousins, $200 million. Goodness gracious, that guy's made off like a bandit in his career, and he'll never win you a Super Bowl. But, Nades, I don't know if you saw all that money that's been thrown around those Packers making some moves, but this is an NBA show, so we'll talk that. But a lot of money to be made out there in those NFL streets these days. But we're here to talk this 6 games. A lot of value, especially in the Mile High City, so looking forward to breaking it all down for you.
Yeah, in the midst of a wild day in the NFL here, right? Obviously, my Packers signing Josh Jacobs, releasing Aaron Jones, releasing Dylan. They just signed Xavier McKinney, which is a huge addition there, 4 years, beefing up that defense. The Packers are freaking going all in, baby. Josh Jacobs, a little bit younger there than Aaron Jones. We'll see. Maybe there's some underlying injury concerns there with Aaron Jones behind the scenes that we don't know about. But excited for that. Excited for NFL, obviously. Couple months yet before NFL, the draft coming up here in a little bit. But hey, it's not NFL, it's NBA show. But first, it's the Players Week, man. It's the Players Week. We got to talk about it. You see it up on the screen there. Join SHIPIT Nation right now using promo code MASTERS15. Gets you 15% off your monthly package. You can join, you get the access to the players, and you can stay for the Masters. It's exactly covers the entire duration of what you're looking for here. Drops it down about $1 a day when you use the PGA only package. Comes out to $33.15, basically $1 a day there you're looking at when you use that promo code Masters15. Gets you access to the players, gets you access obviously to the Masters, but also I do highly suggest jumping up to that all access pass, which goes down to about $58 a month, just under $2 a day. Gets you access to all the sports, not just golf. Obviously, if you're interested just for the PGA, obviously a lot of the people here watching this are interested in obviously NBA, obviously our other sports. So if you are not a member yet, use that promo code MASTERS15. Gets you 15% off any package you do choose for life. Already the cheapest all-in rate in the industry. We got the best community, the best Discord that you'll see hands down. We got you covered for slate plan, core plays, projections, everything that everywhere else has to offer, but we do it, if not better, the same for a much cheaper rate. So head over there, shipitnation.com. Click on join now. Use that promo code Masters15. Get it now for the players. Obviously, huge week in the PGA streets. We'll have you covered here on this channel with all of our shows. Tambo will be jumping in there. Hoop already did his video today. We got you covered with the projections, with the slate plan. Aldrich's already got his value article working on that. So we got you there covered with everything over here at the Nation. But how much? It's a lot of promo. Have to do it right. Have to keep the bosses happy. Have to do the marketing spiel off the top. But let's talk about this slate. Let's talk about the 6 games we have on tap. We're going to start with the Charlotte-Detroit game here. Big news in this one. LaMelo still out, obviously. McGowan's out. Trey Mann is doubtful. Outside of that, Austin Thompson on the Detroit side is questionable. That's probably the biggest piece of news. Quentin Grimes is probable, likely to play here on the Detroit side. Talk about this one. Not a ton of ownership to kick us off. Not the greatest game in terms, but it's 2 teams that don't play a lot of defense. Where are you going in this one? Jalen Duren looks like the best play right now as it stands from a projection standpoint. But where are you looking in this one?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, this doesn't look like a lot of folks are going here tonight. Ownership wise, but these are 2 teams that are allergic to defense, and I think we got some good plays in this game. You said it. I mean, we'll just start with Jalen Duren. I think he's a great spot tonight. Charlotte versus bigs all year long has just been getting annihilated, and Jalen Duren, at 6,400 I think is a great play for starters. And then his front court mate, Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew at 5,100, power forward and center eligible. I think Isaiah Stewart is a great play today. We have him projected for almost 27 points. I think he beats that, quite a bit tonight. Asar Thompson left the game early. I think he had an illness of some sort the other night. So obviously monitor Asar Thompson. If he doesn't start, Simone Fontecchio, former Utah Jazz great, has been playing pretty well. Small forward, power forward eligible, $4,700 as well. Don't mind that play. And then Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. I mean, both are point guard eligible. Jaden Ivey's shooting guard eligible. I mean, they both have great matchups too. So I just listed all 5 starters basically for the Pistons, who I really like tonight. I think they can exploit this Charlotte team. They're all relatively, priced relatively good. We have some spin ups tonight with Luka and or Jokic. So you're going to need some of these guys, and I don't mind any of those 5 starters, assuming Thompson's out for the Pistons. And on the flip side, this Hornets team, they're facing a horrendous D as well. And Vasily Micic has been playing a ton of minutes, right? Trey Mann has been out and or injured a lot of the time, and he's logged 30-plus minutes in pretty much 5 straight games. So don't mind Micic there. And then two other people I want to mention. Grant Williams, strictly based on price, 5,600 against this Detroit team, I think is a great spot. And then lastly, Miles Bridges, probably my favorite Hornet, small forward, power forward eligible, $8,700. Should have his way tonight with this Pistons team. I really like Miles Bridges, my favorite Hornet. But I think this is game Nades that DFS. There's going to be plentiful points scored tonight in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, great breakdown here. I agree with a lot of the takes. My favorite play on the Charlotte side is going to be Miles Bridges. The matchup's great for him. He's a madman right now playing. He's coming off back-to-back 50, right? 57, 45 and a half, 39 minutes, 41 minutes, 27 shot attempts, 15 shot attempts, 10 3-point attempts, 5 3-point attempts. He's a madman right now. Gets a good matchup here. Obviously, Detroit doesn't play a lick of defense. And then on the other side, I love Cade Cunningham. Cade's been balling, absolutely balling since the All-Star break. And I look for him to keep that up here. He's got a plus matchup here against Charlotte. So I really like Cade, really like Jalen Duren as well from the Detroit side. On the Charlotte side, Miles Bridges I like a lot here. Outside of Miles Bridges, don't have a ton of interest. I mean, you can play a guy like Brandon Miller, right, for a little bit cheaper if you can't get all the way up to Miles Bridges. Much prefer Bridges, but Brandon Miller, I think, is fine. It's a decent matchup for him at 7-2. Don't love that price, though, on him. I think there's good plays in here. And then, obviously, Fontecchio here. Cored him up the other night, right, when he dropped the 41 on the slate there. That was a good play there. So I think you can go right back to the well on him. He's getting quite a bit of minutes for this Detroit team. He's playing good basketball right now as well. That should extend his run. So Fontecchio, however you want to pronounce it, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, and then on the other side, Miles Bridges would be my preferred guy from the Charlotte piece. And I think Brandon Miller's fine as well. Let's jump into the next game here. We're talking Phoenix-Cleveland in this one. Phoenix at Cleveland. A lot of injury news here. Donovan Mitchell is out for Cleveland. Mobley's out. Max Struss is out. Tristan Thompson remains suspended. Dean Wayne is out. And then on the Phoenix side, Eric Gordon's out. Nasir Little out. Okogie is out. Devin Booker is probable, so looking to play. And then Darius Garland is back for Cleveland here. Talk this one down. Karis LeVert looks to be pretty high owned right now. He's playing pretty good right now, getting obviously low 30s minutes, mid 30s minutes. Where are you going in this one, Phoenix, Cleveland?
Yeah, this should be a good game. And the Cavaliers were doing some look ahead last night, I believe, as they got trounced by Brooklyn. Playing the Suns tonight, a little bit tougher matchup. I think it's one of the best spots of the night, if not the best. Darius Garland, $8,000 up against this Phoenix Suns team. This Phoenix Suns team is the worst team in the NBA guarding the point guard position. Darius Garland, not only is he a point guard, he's also without his running mate, Donovan Mitchell, as you alluded to. Not a better matchup for Darius tonight. He's going to have the ball in his hand. His usage rate has been sky high without Donovan. I think Darius Garland at 8,000 is one of the best play, if not the best play on the slate tonight. And then you alluded to Karis LeVert would kind of be my second favorite Cav that we have going. I really like Karis. He did start last game. He's going to get the shots up, but he's a distant second for me behind Darius. I think Darius is a phenomenal play tonight, and he'll be on my main team for sure. And then on the flip side, KD at 9.9, that's just too high for me, especially against this defensive team like Cleveland has, like they have to offer. So it's going to be Darius for me. It's going to be Georges Niang for me, small forward, power forward eligibility, simply based on his price and what he can do. I think he dropped in 21 real life points, if I'm not mistaken, last night. So I like Niang at 4,800 to help me save some salary. And my favorite son, he's priced probably too high to get to, but it's going to be Grayson Allen. This guy's playing 40 minutes with no Eric Gordon. Been shooting the lights out. He's had a 50 burger and a 40 burger in 2 of his last 3 games. So Grayson would be my favorite, son. I mean, obviously KD and Booker are the showstoppers there, but give me some Grayson Allen at 6,200 with no Eric Gordon in there. If Devin Booker missed, to have tons more interest, but it's Darius Garland is going to be where it starts for me in this one.
Yeah, I think Darius Garland's great. Obviously, he did deal with a little bit of an injury right late in that game, last game, wrist, forearm there. But obviously, he's back, going to play tonight. Really like the spot. His usage should be there. Should get Grayson Allen on the defense on the other end, which shouldn't be that terrible. I think Craig Porter could get a little extended run here at 3,300. You saw him play 25 minutes last game. 3-3. I don't think Craig Porter is the craziest value play on the slate. Looking to be about 10 or 12% owned right now. At least that's what we're showing with our ownership projections over here. But at 3-3, obviously got Luke on the slate. We're definitely going to talk about the Jokic Toronto game with basically Toronto's whole team sitting here. You got some Drew Holiday missing right in Boston against Portland later on the slate that we'll talk about. But at 3-3, Craig Porter, I think he's a solid value play here. If he gets you like last game, right? Last night he played 25 minutes. It is a back-to-back young kid here. I don't think it's a terrible play there, so I don't mind him. But I like Karis LeVert. I like Garland. Craig Porter is a value play. On the Sun side, really not a ton of interest. I don't have a ton of interest overall in this game in general. It is just a 221-point total. Phoenix is favored by 6 here. There's a lot of injury news that we'll talk about later. Shorthanded Boston team, obviously Toronto, things like that. So maybe a piece or two from this. Craig Porter value, I like. Darius Garland as a guard at 8K with his usage rate with the matchup, I think is an excellent play. Prefer Garland to LeVert. So I would try to get up to Garland if you can, but I think LeVert's fine as well. Let's jump to the next game here, 7 p.m. Eastern, or 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. There's 2 games locking at this time. First one we're going to talk about here is Golden State San Antonio. In terms of a total in this one, 227 total, 4-point spread. Golden State favored by 4 here in this one. In terms of injury news, Draymond Green's probable, Moody's probable, Gary Payton's back. Not a ton of big news there, but Stephen Curry is out in this game for Golden State. On the San Antonio side, Victor Wemby is back here tonight. So really not a ton of injury news from the Spurs side. Got to talk about it. Probably one of the highest owned plays on the slate. TJD, former Indiana Hoosier here. Jackson Davis at the center position, just 4-4 here against the Spurs, but he is going to be going up against Wembanyama down in that paint. Talk about him. Where are you going? Golden State, San Antonio.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Tracy Jackson Davis, probably one of the highest owned players, and rightfully so. $4,400, great price on him. He started last game. Gets a top 3 matchup for bigs in this one, even with Wemby down there. We need him to put up a 30 burger, which he can do tonight, especially with no stuff. So you should see a few more shots out of him. He's going to get rebounds. So don't mind Tracy Jackson Davis for sure at $4,400. The one thing I don't like about him is he's only center eligible. I wish he was power forward and center eligible, but only center eligible. So certainly like him. And then I don't see how, Chris Paul's not in the conversation. We're not showing that high of ownership on him tonight, looking at, sub 10%. I think his usage goes way up. I don't think he's going to get into the, 38, 42 minutes just at this point in his career, but He can do so many different things. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. They really don't have any true point guards outside of him. The only other one would be maybe Podziemski. But I'm going CP3 over Brandon tonight. So give me CP3, 6,900, Tracy Jackson Davis. And then I like Jonathan Kuminga tonight as well. Power forward eligibility. With Stephen out, I think someone's going to have to foot the load, the offensive load. And I think Kuminga is one of their better offensive weapons tonight with no Steph Curry. So give me those two. And then Wemby coming back from an injury. Nades, I always get scared when, you got Pop, you're dealing with Pop there, 10-5. I mean, Wemby is obviously a freak and can get there, but with him been hurt or been out anyway, I don't know if there's going to be a minutes restriction. I just don't trust Pop enough to get there at 10-5, but that's just me. I won't be playing any of these Spurs. Only interest in TJD and Kuminga and Paul.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown here. I don't have a ton of interest overall in this game. Obviously, TJD is a great value play. He's going to be very high owned. It is a very bad matchup here for him, so you can make the case to fade. But, 4,400, he's pretty locked into his minutes as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble there. I think he's solid, but I don't think it's the craziest fade in the world going up against Wemby, right? Could run into some foul trouble pretty quick. Wemby on the other end, I don't think is the worst play, but again, coming back from injury, just don't know what the minutes are going to look like for him. Obviously, the minutes have been capped at kind of 31, 32 all season long. Now coming back from an injury with Pop, I don't know if I can pay 10-5 for Wembanyama here. Pretty much Chris Paul, I think, is a solid option. I agree with your take there on Chris Paul. Kuminga, I think, is solid at 7K. Podziemski, maybe at 6,400 just for another ball handler. But, man, it's just overall not a great game, in my opinion. Just even with Clay being out or Steph being out here, I don't think it's a game that I want to target too much here. Kuminga, Chris Paul, I think are fine. Klay Thompson, if you ever so choose to click that name at 6'5". I know Hamwich, that's his favorite player there. So outside of that, do not do it, he says. Not a ton of interest outside of that in this game. I think a lot of my interest is going to be more in these later games and maybe some of that Charlotte-Detroit game to kick us off is kind of how I'm looking at it. But let's jump into this next game here. We got, obviously, Luka in this game. From a total standpoint, in the Dallas-Chicago game here, 233 total. So highest total on the slate, just a 4-point spread from the Dallas side. In terms of injury news, really no injury news at all. Basically two fully healthy teams. Got Luka at 12-4 here. You got he's looking to be pretty high owned. You got Caruso in that mid tier at 5'3", getting a lot of minutes, playing pretty good basketball right now. I think this is definitely an interesting game from a DFS perspective. Where are you going, Dallas, Chicago?
Yeah, this one's going to be up and down as well. I think we saw the Mavs put up 140 the other night against the Pistons. Luka, I think I'm gonna fade Luka tonight, Nades. 12-4 going up against a pretty good team, a defensive team. I think that's going to be my stance on the night. When I say fade, if I do 20 teams, I may have him on 2 as opposed to like 8 or whatever. But I think the fade is there tonight. Comes back down to earth and gets around 50 or 60. DraftKings points is kind of where what I see just based on this matchup. And then on the flip side, I love a ton of these Bulls because I'm not sold on this Dallas defense. So give me some Vooch at $8,300. Kobe White, combo guard. Dallas really struggles against combo guards on the year, and I really like Kobe White in that position. DeMar DeRozan, I'm normally not a DeMar DeRozan guy, but at 8,200, they struggle against forwards. Give me DeMar DeRozan. And then lastly, point guard, shooting guard eligible for the Bulls is your boy Ayo. Ayo at $6,300. I don't mind him at all. I think the Bulls take it to the Mavs tonight. I think Luka comes back down to earth and only scores 50 points, if you will, DraftKings in the 50s. Give me the Bulls to win this game outright. Give me those Bulls, the big-name Bulls, to get there in daily fantasy as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you here. If there's a spot to fade Luka, it's here. I'm on Team Kyrie over Luka here tonight. Kyrie's matchup is just much better against Ayo DeSumo. Alex Caruso, very, very good defender. He's going to play all the minutes. That's why I like Alex Caruso here at 5'3". He's going to be out there as many minutes as he can handle to try and contain Luka as much as possible here. I mean, the Bulls are one of the best pick and roll defensive teams in the entire NBA as well, which 12-4. I mean, he needs to do a lot at that price point. Caruso's a very good defender here. I think he comes back down. Obviously, he hasn't scored under 70 DraftKings points back since February 27th, right? He even dates back to that. His last game under 70 was back February 25th against Indy. Every other game since then, he's been over 70. I think this is a good spot here to jump off him. He's going to be heavily owned. And in tournaments, I think I'm just going to go elsewhere, to be honest. I like going right over to Kyrie Irving because if obviously Kyrie still is going to play all the minutes he can handle, if Luka's held in check a little bit, that benefits Kyrie Irving here. So I like Kyrie. I don't think PJ Washington is a terrible play either. From the power forward center position, pretty solid matchup for him. He hasn't been great, but again, solid matchup here. 5,500. I'm going with the take that Luka's going to be held in check enough. He's going to have to distribute more, and that gives other guys on his offense boost like Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington. So those two guys I definitely have interest in. And then on the Bulls side, matchup's pretty elite for Vucevic here. He's my favorite Bull at 8-3, another center. Talked about a lot of centers on the slate. You can play two of them. Obviously, one has to go in the util, but I don't hate him. I think DeMar DeRozan's an all right play. And then Caruso, I like quite a bit as well in that mid-tier at 5-3. But overall, I mean, two pretty fully healthy teams here, priced up there. You can grab some plays, but despite being a 233 total, there's just not a ton of injury news. And that's what I focus on in NBA, right? Shorthanded rotations, smaller rotations, more minutes lead to more usage, more fantasy points. Basically, both these teams are pretty fully healthy. So grab a piece or two, but I wouldn't go overboard in this game personally. Jump to the next game here. An hour after those last two games lock, it's Toronto and it's Denver here. In terms of the total, 232 total, massive spread here. Denver, 15-point favorites at home. In terms of injury news here, obviously a lot of injury news on the Toronto side. Gary Trent's out, Quickly's out, Carlton's out, Boucher is out. Bruce Brown is questionable on the Denver side. Really no news. DeAndre Jordan is questionable. RJ Barrett is probable. So RJ Barrett looks to be playing here for Toronto. A ton of ownership going to this game. Guy named by the name of Grady Dick, Freeman Liberty, whoever those two guys are. And then on the other side, Jamal Murray, Jokic, both going to get a lot of ownership. Jordan Nwora at 3.5 is going to get a lot of ownership. This is where everyone's grabbing their value. Talk about how to navigate it, what you're going, where you're looking at. Toronto, Denver, Hamilton.
Yeah, I hope your boy Hebrew Cheetah's not still listening to this. He's all over Javon Freeman Liberty, the former DePaul Blue Demon great. Should get a lot of run, but I'm with you. Never heard of him until this season, and not somebody I'm going to be playing tonight. I mean, I see the $3,500, but I'm going to go with the known quantities for this Raptors team. Grady Dick, 4,600. I think he's a great play. Should be a starter tonight. RJ Barrett, I don't mind at 7,600. Kelly Olynyk, 6,900. Don't mind him. But my favorite Raptor, my favorite value Raptor is going to be Agbaji, former Kansas Jayhawk, coming in tonight. Should see extended minutes, extended run, and he's been playing well. Been playing 20-plus minutes a game. Now I think he steps into a starter's role, assuming he's starting. He's going to be my favorite one at $4,500. Bruce Brown, any Bruce Brown revenge game narrative, Nades? Anything there? $4,800. Don't mind him, especially if he's going to see extended run. And then it's the usual suspects for the Nuggets. I mean, they're projected to score 122.5 points. I mean, Jokic, you said, is going to be owned. Jamal Murray, who is in just a phenomenal spot tonight. Michael Porter Jr., I think, is okay. Those would kind of be the three big boys for the Nuggets that I want, because they're going to put up some points tonight against this depleted and rundown Raptor squad.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I think obviously it's a great game. I think Freeman Liberty is still fine. I have a little bit more interest in him. 3,500, he's going to start. Starter at 3,500 in a matchup where I think he's blow-up proof as well, right? I haven't heard of this guy before this season, so he's going to play all the minutes he can handle. I assume out there at 3,500. I think he's still fine. Grady Dick, I do like. RJ Barrett, I think is a solid play here. Obviously, he's the best player in that starting lineup. The game gets out of hand, which the spread indicates. He's probably the first one to come off that court, so could see his minutes cut up there. But if this game forever stays close, got to assume it's on the back of RJ Barrett. I mean, he's starting alongside Grady Dick, Agbaji, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown. I mean, he's the main guy, right, out there. So Freeman Liberty, I think, is a solid guy. But again, I mean, it's worthy of a fade to your point, right? But again, he's going to get the blowout run. I think that's why he's projected to be as high owned as he is, because it is a 15-point spread here. It's hard to assume this Toronto team is going to go into Denver, into the altitude, and keep this game close with a fully healthy Nugget squad. Jamal Murray, I think, is an all right play. Jokic, I think, is fine. But I think my favorite play on the Denver side is Michael Porter Jr. Here. You know what you're getting with Porter Jr. If he's not hitting his shots, it's going to be tough for him to get value here. But he should have no problem here in this matchup. I think he's solid at 6,600. He's probably my favorite play. Can play a lot of these value plays. I agree with Agbaji here, 4,500. He's projected to start at the 3 in this game. I think he's solid. But overall, this is where everyone's going for value. So be cognizant of how you play these guys. I think if you run any optimizer right now, probably 3 or 4 of these Toronto pieces are hitting teams. At least 2 of them in Freeman and Grady Dick up at the top for sure. And then you're looking at studs on the other side from the Denver team. Is kind of how optimizers are playing it. So maybe you play, instead of playing a Jamal Murray and a Jokic in this game from the Denver side, maybe you go in RJ Barrett, right? And instead of a Jamal Murray at 7,600, instead of 8,200 for Jamal Murray, just a little bit different way to construct teams, because a lot of teams are going Freeman Liberty, Grady Dick, Jackson Davis as your value plays, and then spending up elsewhere, up to Jokic, up to Luka, up to another 8K plus guard there. So interesting game for sure. Obviously, Toronto pieces, very shorthanded here. My favorite plays, RJ Barrett, I think, is a good play. Grady Dick, I love a lot. And then Agbaji would be my third favorite here. And then Freeman Liberty, obviously, is a value play, I think, is solid as well.
Hey, one more thing I want to add real quick, Nate, is Jonte Porter is slated to be the backup center tonight. We currently don't have a projected on him, but Jonte Porter, the brother of your favorite Nugget, Michael Porter Jr., should see the backup center minutes tonight with no Pirtle in there. 3K, to your point, get off Freeman Liberty, get off Dick, and go Jonte Porter. Might not be a bad route to go, but I like him. And looking at the slate plan, Hebrew does too. So I may write some Jonte Porter at the Stone Min price.
Yeah, you can never argue a guy against Stone minimum. I mean, obviously you don't want him to get a 0, but even if he gets you a 0, it's what it does for your other roster. And I don't think he's going to get 0. I think he gets run either way for sure, especially in the backup. Obviously anybody going up against Jokic can get into foul trouble, especially a guy like Kelly Olynyk, right, who should get bullied down there in the paint in altitude. So definitely I like that call a lot there. Let's jump into the last game of the night. We do have injury news in this one here. Pretty big total in this one as well. Or not pretty big, excuse me. The lowest total on the slate, 217 matches that Charlotte-Detroit game. But we got injury news, right? Drew Holiday is out in this one. Derek White is in. Jaylen Brown's in. Jason Tatum's in. Projected starters, Derek White, Brown, Tatum, Hauser, Horford. On the other side, not a ton of injury news. Jeremy Grant is questionable, expected to play here. Where are you going? A lot of ownership, obviously, going to Jason Tatum when you take Drew Holiday off the court there. Peyton Pritchard, right, getting the center or the backup guard minutes at 3,800. But lowest total on the board, late night game. Despite the injury news, it is a matchup against Portland. Where are you going here?
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. Yeah. I don't think you mentioned Porzingis is out and Holiday, so two of the big 5 are out for the Celtics. So to me, that leaves 3 players or 3 of their big 5 in. I'm always a Derek White homer. Give me some Derek White, 6,600, should have the ball in his hands a lot more with no Drew. I know Peyton Pritchard's popping over here at our stuff that I'm looking at 3,800 bucks. I don't think it's the worst play. I won't get there personally on my main team just because I like other players. But give me some Derek White, point guard, shooting guard eligible, like the dual eligibility for him. And then my two favorite Trailblazers, which I don't mind, is former Boston Celtic great Delano Blanton, 42, 38 minutes his last 2 games. He's been playing lights out. And for only 5,100, I think he's squarely in play tonight. I'm surprised he's not projected higher than he is. So give me him. And then DeAndre Ayton would be my second favorite one, second favorite player for them, for the Blazers. Played 40 minutes in his return to action and just absolutely went off, scoring 30 points, 19 rebounds, 61 DraftKings points. So really like those two. And I think you could play into these Celtics, right? It's not who you play, it's how you play them. But it's Derek White to lead the pack for me. And then just, we may get late news on Tatum or Brown sitting. I know they both said that they're playing, but if one of them sits or if anyone else sits, right, that's just going to bump them up. But for right now, it's Derek White and those two Blazers for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Tatum's a good play here too. At 9,500 here, going up against Portland, got obviously a great matchup here. Jaylen Brown's got a great matchup too. I'm with you. Derek White, I think, is probably my favorite at 6,600. I like him a lot. And then on the Portland side, not a ton of interest from the Portland sides, but I do like Delano Banton with you, only if he starts. He's not slated to start right now. At least projected Basketball Monster has Anthony Simon and then Chris Murray and Kamara slated to start alongside Grant and Ayton. If he does start at 5-1, I like him a lot. But outside of that, I mean, maybe a piece or two from this game. Really going to be focused on that Toronto-Denver game. Obviously, I like that Dallas-Chicago game a little bit. And then some pieces from obviously the Cleveland-Phoenix game, right, with Donovan Mitchell being out there in Cleveland. So that's kind of where I'm looking. Any final thoughts for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we covered it pretty well. If you missed it earlier, I really love Darius Garland tonight at $8,000. I think he's in a smash spot against the worst team, guarding the point guard, and he has no Donovan Mitchell tonight. I think he's on the winner tonight, Nades. I'll be playing a ton of Darius Garland, $8,000 tonight.
Yeah, you're flag planting on Darius Garland. Going to be contrarian. I think all the ownership goes to not contrarian. He's going to get ownership, but I think the ownership more goes towards Karis LeVert being cheaper at 6,700. You obviously get the dual position eligibility with Karis LeVert there at shooting guard and small forward. But overall, I think it's an interesting game. Not the highest totals on the slate, just 233 is the highest total there. In a game where both squads are basically fully healthy in Dallas and Chicago. So should be an interesting one here for tournaments. I think we broke it down well. Our slate plans up by our guy Hebrew and Rio over there at SHIPIT Nation. Again, if you guys are not a member and you missed the start of the show, you can join now. Get in for the players. Obviously, this week we'll have you covered for everything. The Players Championship for PGA. Hoop already has his first look there, talking through the salaries, talking through some different stuff. Tambo and Hoop will be doing the breakdown for the DFS perspective there. Obviously, we got all the articles. We'll have the slate plan. We'll have our course fit rankings, everything needed there. But the best part about it is you join now, you get to stay for the Masters. If you join the PGA only package, it is just $1 a day, $33 total for the month there. If you use that promo code Masters15, but I do highly suggest joining the All Access Pass, $58 a month goes to just $2 a day. You get in now, you get all the sports. Obviously, MLB is right around the corner here in about 2 weeks. We'll have you covered there. Still got the rest of the NBA season, NFL with all the trades going on and the free agent signings going on right now. That's shortly and quickly approaching here. So use that promo code Masters15. We got you covered for all sports there. Cheapest all-in rate in the industry. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. We'll see you next time.